Hey guys, so big announcement, big news coming out from YieldMax in the last 24 hours. And spoiler alert, yes, they are moving their monthly ETFs from a monthly distribution to a weekly distribution. So, what does that look like? Well, that's what we're going to get into. We're going to talk about what these changes mean. Do they mean anything? Is this good for us? Is this bad for us? Is it a nothing burger? Who knows? But before we get into that, just a quick disclaimer. This is, of course, not financial advice. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. These videos are just based on my thoughts as I navigate my own personal investment journey. Every investment does incur a risk. Please always do your own research. So with that being said, let's get into it. Let's just go through the email from YieldMax because it's quite important. So they announced an adjustment to their distribution schedule. So weekly distributions declared every Tuesday and Wednesday. So YieldMax here consolidates all its ETFs, excluding the YieldMax Target 12 ETFs. What are the Target 12 ETFs? There's only three of them actually. One of them I hold, which is SMCY. It's like a growth ETF. This one is for this in the semiconductor space. It's a growth ETF that basically also pays you 12% distribution annually on a monthly time range. But the other ones, if you go up here, you'll see there's only three of them. There's Biggie, there's SOXY, there's Renty, real estate, semiconductor, and the Big 50 option income. So these three are the only ones that are going to stay monthly or every 4 weeks. It's not actually monthly, it's every 4 weeks. And the rest of YieldMax's ETFs are going to be pushed to weekly. Okay, so basically all of them. So there'll be two groups. There'll be Group 1 and Group 2. Group 1 is going to be declared every Tuesday. It's going to have its ex-div date on the Wednesday, and it's going to have its payment date on the Thursday. So it's going to be moved one day ahead, essentially. So you'll be getting paid the day before on the Thursday, and the rest will be paid on the Friday. So these are YMAX, YMAG, PLTY, ULTY, SALTY, LFGY, CHIPPY, GBTY, QDTY, SDTY, RDT. Oh, it's a lot to say, isn't it? But basically, the weeklies are just moving. They're staying weekly, obviously, and then coming one day prior. They're going to be paid on the Thursday, ex-div day on Wednesday, announcement on Tuesday. And then the monthlies, the ones that are currently every 4 weeks. So all the big guys, your MSTYs, your NVDYs, your PLTYs, your SMCYs, all of these guys, ABN, like from here to here, and even your short stocks, so your short ETFs, fiat, crash, etc., are going to be on the same day, but every week. So every Wednesday will be declaration, Thursday ex-div, so it's the same, Friday, but they'll all be weekly now. So what does this look like? Group 1, that's the current weeklies. They're just going to shift. So you'll get paid these on a Thursday. Oh, I didn't mean to do that, but actually that's quite good. So you get paid these on a Thursday, announcement day on a Tuesday, ex-div day on Wednesday, and then Group 2. So this is all our current monthly or every 4 week ETFs. All the big guys, they're going to be on the same day as payment, Friday, but it's going to be on a weekly basis now. So all of them, apart from the Target 12 ETF distributions, which will remain monthly. So what does this mean? Is this good? Is this bad? Do we like this? A lot of people have been asking for weekly income because that's where the space is going. ROUNDHILL weekly pays are every week. Most of the high income, high yield ETFs in this space have been moving to weekly. But does this actually matter? Well, I think taking ULTY as an example is quite a good thing to do. People say that once it became weekly, it improved the performance. But in my opinion, it was the change in strategy. Now, my issue with this announcement from YieldMax is that it's not going far enough. All they're doing is changing the payment schedule from monthly to weekly. For me, I actually don't like this because I like getting paid a big lump sum on Group D announcement week, which is when MSTY, SMCY. So I get paid like quite a large amount on that day. So when I'll just show you what happens for me. So MSTY, I got 8 grand, and then SMCY. I like having that one like nice bulk payment, and then the rest having weekly. Like I have my ROUNDHILL weekly ETFs, I have my GRANITESHARES weekly. I like having the one because that's when I pay myself, and then the rest I reinvest. All the other stuff I just reinvest as soon as I get it. So for me, YieldMax aren't they're addressing the fact that people have asked for weekly ETFs or weekly income, weekly distributions, but they haven't addressed the other issue, which is the supposed NAV erosion that gets talked about a lot. And the fact is that will changing them to weekly change the strategy? Will it make the NAV easier to recover? In my opinion, it won't. It's just you're just cutting it up into 4, and then you've got less time to recover that NAV, even though the amount that's taken out of the ETF is obviously smaller because there's less distribution obviously each week compared to a lump distribution each month. But for me, I mean, I don't think it changes it that much. It doesn't address the NAV situation. So if we go to ULTY, like everyone says that once it became weekly, it started doing really well. And that's not, if you look at the data, that's actually not really the case, because the first weekly payment was around here, 6th of March, or just after 6th of March. And that's the tariff, that's kind of beginning of the tariff chaos. And then it just started going down because the whole market started going down when there was talk of tariffs and everything, and it just continued going down. Then after the tariff chaos, then the market started to pick up again. So it wasn't really the fact that ULTY's strategy changed from monthly to weekly. It was the fact that there was a timing of the market. So this was the April kind of chaos, the low, when the tariff mania was kind of kicking in, and we saw the S&P 500 drop 20%, and everyone was really bearish and everyone was freaking out and selling off. So that's what happened. And then of course the market had a big recovery, but actually ULTY didn't even recover that much. Now, what it did do well is it changed its underlying strategy. It didn't just change from monthly to weekly. It actually brought on a full-time fund manager that was rotating the underlying stocks that are held within ULTY. So like ULTY now holds stuff like Robinhood and stuff with momentum that's looked like it's going to grow over the next few months, that's also highly volatile, so that they can make income on it. So they're changing with a dedicated fund manager the underlying stocks that are held within ULTY. That was an actual changing of the strategy, which is why it was then able to be volatile and maintain its NAV whilst paying really high distributions of like 80% a week. It wasn't the fact that it changed from going monthly to weekly and it suddenly did better. So in my opinion, this isn't a good thing. It's not a bad thing. If you like weekly income, this is probably a good thing for you. But does it fix some of the underlying issues and the problems that the investors and I see the community have with YieldMax? And that is the difficulty for the funds and the ETFs to recover their NAV when the upside is capped. And I think that's the real issue, is that this is now going, you put all of them into weekly, but you're still competing against ROUNDHILL, which is 120% leveraged and is uncapped. So ROUNDHILL, in my opinion, in a bull market is still a better play. Now, that's going to change when it comes to a bear market. I actually think ULTY may be a pretty good pick for a bear market because they have a dedicated fund manager and they can rotate into other stocks that may do well in a bear market. They have that flexibility and that control. And also there is less downside than ROUNDHILL. It's 120%. So that's going to suffer more in a bear market. But as I said, these changes are just changing from monthly to weekly. It's just a timing thing. It's just when you're going to get paid. It's not changing the strategy, the fundamental strategy of how we're going to recover the NAV, and how they're addressing that issue of capped upside, I guess, and how it seems to be NAV erosion and NAV decay, even though sometimes like MSTY's case. It's really just the underlying stock MicroStrategy is tanking, and so the ETF is tanking with it. I mean, not all YieldMax ETFs are doing badly, and not all have NAV erosion. So, PLTY has done really well because Palantir's done well. HOOY's done really well because Robinhood's done really well. So there's not NAV erosion in all of them, but they do struggle to recover their NAV because of that capped upside. And I think that's the issue. It's not whether they're paying monthly or weekly. So for me, I actually don't love it because I really like getting my big MSTY payout in Group D when it comes around every month. And then I get my SMCY payout at the same time every month. I like that. But, if it changes to weekly, I'm not mad about it. It's fine, but it's not really addressing some of the issues that I see in the community. So it's news of some kind, but it's not drastic news. It's really just when we're going to be receiving our income and our distributions based on the ETFs that we invest in. So anyway, that's the news. Let me know what you think. Is this a good thing for you? I know that lots of people love the weekly income and what it does, and that you're then able to, if you get that income earlier, you're then able to reinvest earlier straight away. And maybe that's true. If there was a dip happening 2 days after you get that weekly income, then you have those funds available to then buy the dip. If there's a couple of red days after those distributions have been received, then you have the option or the opportunity to then buy the dip better because you've received your income earlier. So maybe that is an advantage. Anyway, thought I'd share that with you. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Are they addressing some of the underlying issues about NAV? Or are you sticking with some of the other guys in the space like ROUNDHILL, like GRANITESHARES, or some of the others? All right, cheers, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.